And we are live. Please don't hesitate to say anything.
Hi, everybody.
There we go. Manuel, I thought you said you were ready. Is he muted for everyone else?
I can't hear him.
Okay, cool.
Is that going to be a thing all night?
I have no idea,
him
man.
now.
We can hear you now, at least.
I know I have to keep unplugging and plugging. This is a newish cord. Like it's probably about a year old now, but like if you remember, like I had issues with the cord, and then like like Warren's like, I'll just buy you a new cord. So he bought me a cord. And now this cord, to be fair, I bought the cheapest cord. That was probably a stupid thing to have done. But anyway. Hey everyone, it's Ultra Podcast Z. It's Manuel, the leader of AJ Connections, and yeah. Introduce yourself, Josh.
Hi, I am Josh. I am Fotaku Network, and right now just kind of chilling. Glad to be here. It was a busy month previously, and then schedules were cray, but glad to be here. Always glad to be here.
Yeah, it feels like forever since
July was
Josh
a blur.
Yeah,
I don't think you were on since before July, before AX. However weird that is, yeah.
No, oh my god!
And then all of AX.
The time went by so fast.
Yeah, because we had like 2 or 3 weeks off. Then it was games with Andrew and Howe. Then you were back for 1 week, Manuel. Then it was me and Andrew doing our game 3x3s, and now we're here.
Yeah, like I've been kind of busy too. Like it's funny because we were talking about this like before, like at some point in the middle of all the breaks, that we should have just taken all of July off officially, and like whether or not UPZ as this podcast continues until next year, because we have a thing about that in a minute. We will probably take all of July off for most of the streams also next year, just for this very reason. It's always a busy time. It's just like the summer, AX, like, you know, like all the other like weeb shit going on. There's also a lot of video game shit. So yeah, I don't know. It's always busy.
It is
so, yeah,
always busy.
What you been up to, Josh, and since you've been gone?
Since you've been gone.
Since I've been gone.
Oh my god.
I like how we both went to that.
So what's happened is mainly just my work schedule always changes, where I'll sometimes go in at like 7, like right now I'm going in at 7, and other times I'll get off like 7:30 or 5. But I was getting off at 6 in July. So that made it a bit tougher. And I've also been doing Uber, and then recently got approved for Lyft, and that's just been me trying to save up money because we have plans to move into a bigger place, but at the same time, bills have been kicking my ass. Like I had registration because of 2 cars, and then on top of that, just trying to stay on top of things. And then recently, even my amazing girlfriend Hannah/Alice has also been recently started working too. It's been scorching and stuff, and sometimes we try to make the most of our time together also. So yeah, like yesterday I didn't want to do Uber because she had a really rough day at work, and today thankfully was better. But yeah, no, yesterday we just kind of chilled and just watch some Family Guy and relaxed.
That's cool. Yeah, like I don't know. It's similar shit with me. Like bills have been kicking my ass, and like I'm like, man, it's funny because like right before like, gosh, I don't remember when it was. Like right before AX, I have a bunch of like of my old sealed games on like on eBay here and there, and some of them are really expensive. So they sit there. They've been sitting.
You cut out again, Manuel.
Night. This is gonna happen the whole fucking night. Anyway, I have the games on eBay that have been sitting there for years. And right before AX, I think I sold like 2 of them that were like a ton of money. and I was like, oh my god, thank God I could fucking eat and like go to AX and like do all the other bullshit. And like I haven't done anything especially crazy. I've actually even cut back like on everything, and somehow all that money's gone. And I mean, mind you, it was only several hundred, actually it's about like over 1,000 more than I usually have, but it's still like all that's gone. And I'm like, imagine if I didn't have that money. Imagine if I didn't have that money. How fucked would I have been?
Yeah.
Like I think about that a lot because I'm like, I'd have been fucked. It's like, because I've been like, yeah, it's funny because recently I stopped drinking like soda for like weeks, like at home or anything like that. I only drink water. And that's not
Oh.
because I'm on a health kick or that I'm trying to better my life. It's because I can't afford anything but water.
Oh, no, I get that. We get that.
It's just
That's
funny. I'm like,
why my amazing girlfriend loves whenever there's deals at the local grocery store um out here. And they sometimes have some really killer deals. Like their deals are so awesome that like without them we would probably be starving. And sometimes because their deals are so awesome, we still get to have soda, but only because of their deals being that amazing. Um, and also the mandatory Coke that we need to have. Otherwise, my girlfriend will also die. So they've come in clutch.
Manuel got cut out again.
Oh no, I think we
Yeah.
lost him again.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that okay, I'm dropping the cord to see if I like straighten it out. It works better, but
He cut out immediately, Manuel. You made it
Oh,
worse
snap,
somehow.
he cut out again.
Somehow it's still an improvement over Manuel. We still can't hear you if you're talking.
Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Manuel.
Yeah, happy belated birthday.
thank you. Okay, I'm just gonna like try not to touch anything. I think the cord issue is like, I think I have to buy one like tomorrow. That's all I need right now is like another expense.
Mhm.
Like if I couldn't afford soda yesterday, I think I'll be able to afford it tomorrow.
Yep.
But no, it's actually funny because like I've been taking advantage of all the birthday deals that I've got and coupons and shit like that, and I do that every year. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those people who just like who ignores that shit, but I've been so strategic with it this year. Like I collected all the emails, I went through all the apps, I checked all the expiration dates, and I had them ordered in the amount of like, okay, what days am I gonna eat what for free? Because I'm just like, yeah, I'm broke, guys. I didn't mean to talk about this, but I think I'm really broke.
It's all good. It's all good.
But yeah, I was saying about the soda thing. It's like I'm not afraid to admit that I think I'm pretty addicted to the caffeine in the soda, more than anything else. Like that's my caffeine addiction. Like people talk about like drinking their coffee every day.
My
I need
my
my soda every day.
To be fair, depending on how much you drink,
my
it's probably a lot less caffeine.
addiction is amazingly subsidized also by my girlfriend who gets me a hazelnut creamer that makes coffee from my workplace so much more tolerable.
But yeah, so I just find that funny. I just like anyway, let's move on. Enough talk about Manuel being poor. I'm having a good time here. Having a good time.
Having a
So
good
yeah,
time, having a good time.
what song is that? Is that like
Don't Stop Me
Queen?
Now.
Yeah, it is Queen.
Yeah.
Okay.
There were so many years at one of my local conventions that a song set to don't, or an AMV set to Don't Stop Me Now won best AMV of the year, that I was wondering if it's going to be more of that or Cake by the Ocean, because I think there were another 2 years where that was the winning song in like the AMV.
Oh my god.
You're right,
I
cat
haven't
girl Hannah K. A Coke a day just keep a headache away.
I agree. It sounds like you're addicted too. It sounds like you have this withdrawal. You're just easing the withdrawal. It's like a Coke a day makes me not fiend for the Coke that I need otherwise. But no, my last little coda to that, because this is what I was leading up to, is like my brother went on this crazy vacation. So he this is my mom. I had to do this whole thing with like take care of my mom basically for a minute. For like the next couple weeks, and he's like, "Oh, you can eat all the stuff that I bought for myself in the fridge because it's like it's gonna go bad because I'm gone for several weeks." And I'm like, "Sure." And in there, he has eggs and soda. My mom doesn't like eggs, by the way, and soda and all this other shit. And I'm like, all the stuff I can't afford. And now, in case you're wondering, I have to work that into my already free food schedule for my birthday stuff that's still going on. So I'm like, I have meals planned for days just so I don't have to pay for anything. Yeah.
I think
Anyway,
that's a
that's my little
smart
code
move.
until there. Yeah. I think I have most of the till the end of August covered in food, like free food, I mean to say. So yeah. Um, support us on A to J. Wait, patreon.com
Wait,
A to J
man, give me a sec,
connections.
give me a sec, give me a
Because
sec,
those
give me a sec.
bills. Oh wait. Oh, because those bills are coming up for the website, and like I'm a
Mm.
little worried when they come up because it's like they raised our rates again, which isn't that crazy. But
Mm.
yeah, I don't think I want to name numbers, but you'd be surprised how much it costs to like run A to J connections the website. It's actually a surprisingly a lot of money. Don't you kind of agree, JD?
Yeah, from
But
what I've seen of the bills, yes.
it's well, the thing is, and I've mentioned this before, the thing is, it's my understanding whenever I look up the info about how much these sites cost, is that most people don't pay year to year like we do. Like you buy like the 5 year and it's like half the price per year than what we pay now.
For once, you don't go with the 5-year
But
plan manual.
but you have to like pay that much more. So like if I'm struggling to afford, and I won't use numbers here, but if I'm struggling to afford this number, what makes you think I can afford the 2.5 times that number? And I'm not saying like I'm blaming anyone. I'm just saying like so it's
Mendel, I was
unfortunate.
just
I'm
trying to
just
make a
like
Chinese history joke there.
anyway. I wish I could pay them in payments. I wonder do they take Klarna? I'll
Klarna.
put myself in debt for this. They're gonna take A to J connections away from me if I do that. Watch, I'm not even gonna try. It's gonna be like Klarna owns it now. We're Klarna subsidiary. Anyway, guys, that'd be kind of funny. Though I gotta admit, I would love to see that. But no, there's been a lot of con news since we've been gone. So it's funny because it's all happened so fast. I don't know how this happened with you, Josh, but it all happened so fast with me. So AX Chibi put out their applications for the panels and the performances and their Idol Festival shit about 2 weeks ago. So I submitted
Yes.
a bunch of panels there, and Tiffany and like some other A to J people, all the Idol girls basically were all like, "Oh, we're so excited! We're going to AX Chibi again." All the local groups are performing. Because what like I said, one of my friends Tiffany and Marjorie, they have a group called Trademark, and they recently put out an original song. So like they've been trying to promote themselves like legit for a while now, and they're performing everywhere they can. And they were going to do AX Chibi, and we're all excited. And then they put up the accommodations because that wasn't up for a while, the hotel rooms. And then I booked the Residence Inn, and I was so excited because I'm telling everyone else the hotel's cheap as fuck. So like, if you guys want to
Okay.
come, like it's going to be cheap as fuck to stay. And people are agreeing to come because nobody fucking came last year. Basically, I had last minute people show up to like save the day, but like people are committing now, and I'm like, oh, and then we have a fucking kitchen. We could like make grilled cheese, and then we had this whole thing about an idol grilled cheese party with all the idol girls, which is totally gonna
Idol
happen.
grilled cheese.
Yes, and all that was a joke because at one point I called them the idol grills, as in just girls, but like grills. Um, and they were confused because it looks weird when you type that out. And they're like grilled cheese. I'm like, no, grill isn't girl. But I'm like, we can make grilled cheese though. And yeah. So anyway, $20 cover to pay site fees. Oh, what are you talking about? So I read the fucking chat.
No, for the
But
party.
anyway,
$20 cover charge to cover our site fees.
thank you for the fucking idol grilled cheese party.
Yes.
But yeah, but then it turns out this is all still going on like within days of each other, back to back.
Within days.
The homie Ivan messages me and he drops his video. He's like, "Hey, some shit's going down with AX where they have AX Chibi where they have some crazy like shit in their like terms and services." And this was a developing thing at the time. Like nobody really like had a full grasp on it yet. Um,
Except my
like
girlfriend, she had a grasp on it right away.
Well, there's still parts I think people don't realize, and like one of them is that they actually made these changes at the very least that people can understand before last AX Chibi. So everyone who performed at AX Chibi last year and AX this year, were under these same restrictions. Now, what's interesting is there's a lot of things interesting about this. Like there's stuff like even JD and I talked about this before, but there's stuff I forgot to mention to him that I just remembered right now. But So the whole shtick is that in their terms and services, AX Chibi, or I should say SPGA at this point, because it's both of their cons, put in their terms and services that artists and performers um cannot cannot announce their event. Like if they're doing another event close to AX Chibi, or I guess AX as the case were, they cannot announce it until AX Chibi announces them. Then they can't promote the event pretty much at all if it's within 2 weeks of AX Chibi. And weirdest of all, I think this is the weirdest one of all because it feels like it has nothing to do with anything. They're like, by the way, you also can never start up a similar, or not never, you can also not start up a similar event within 400 miles for the next 2 years of
Right.
AXGV. And I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
genuinely. Like, reading up really quick, Wesley says that he's clocking you for stealing his joke, Boomer. And
Oh, yeah, because it was his joke.
my
He's the one about the grilled cheese thing. But
amazing
yeah.
my amazing gorgeous girlfriend just want to also point out that she does read terms and conditions for fun, which is why she pretty much clocked it right away and wanted to let me know.
So yeah, like don't get me wrong. Like so there's a lot of ways to look at this. Now, first of all, my honest opinion is that AX is just stupid. That AX probably made these
This
terms and
genuinely
services.
is probably the stupidest like terms and conditions like that I've heard of in the anime sphere for a good while.
Because there are similar terms and services for like concert events, and like promoters put similar things in there. They're obviously worded differently, but they're very similar. I think somebody who wrote the terms and services for AX and AX Chibi just cut and pasted like a similar contracty sounding terms and servicey thing from somewhere else, maybe just some weird AI thing online, and just put it in their piece
Damn.
and did not think about it. Because first of all, for those that don't know, non-compete clauses, which technically half of that is, actually all of that is, aren't enforceable in California. I looked it up because I remember like I had issues with this several times over the past couple of years. I won't name names, but somebody I used to do, I used to work for a couple of years ago, had me sign a contract with non-compete clauses. I'm like, you can't have me sign it. I'll sign it, but you can't enforce that. They're like, just sign it, and I'm like, okay, but anyway, and there's other jobs that have had me do that too, and I'm like, I looked it up. Technically, it's not illegal in California, but it's unenforceable. Like there've been precedent cases. Like there's no law saying you can't do it. You could do whatever the fuck you want. Like you put whatever you want in the contract. But like in California, there's enough precedent where it's like, yeah, such and such like ultra court district judge has ruled that these aren't things they can enforce. So AX is fucking up in general. But I also found out from a friend of mine who I won't name, and I actually won't even talk about what events that they run because that'll probably give it away a little more. But they were involved with bringing certain. Well, they weren't involved, but they were in the crew that brought a certain guests to AX proper, and they apparently were told this in pretty much direct speech, like not through terms and services. Like, oh, you're trying to host a paid event outside the con where like another mini concert, or like I think it's actually like just a fan meet and greet or whatever the fuck. You can't do that because it's during AX. We're promoting you. You can't run a rival thing, even like within so many weeks. So they had to do a free event to get around this. And so I don't want to go any further, but I actually do know of a story from AX, apparently, without realizing it. And they were telling me this when it was happening. It didn't dawn on me until like today when I was thinking about it. So AX is kind of trying to bully people and enforce this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's wild to me.
No, that is wild.
Then again, I don't think they're gonna and I guess it would just take someone to try. I don't think if an artist did it, like if an artist is like, oh, I'm going to Con, which I think is the next week, or I'm going to Sin City Anime. Like a friend of mine, who I also won't name for reasons, is an artist who's definitely going to both Chibi and Sin City Anime, and they're exactly 2 weeks from each other. And so I'm like, I'm pretty sure if they post about it, and they will, that I'm going to be at both, AX, I would like to think, maybe I'm wrong. AX Chibi is not gonna like sue her and like cancel her table and like, make her pack up and leave and blacklist her.
And
But
hopefully not, but there do be some relatively pity people who surprisingly will just like be like, "Oh, this is just what we're doing because this is what we have to do to protect ourselves apparently from, every
what?
other little
Yeah.
event on the West Coast for some reason."
I think there's also like weird weird event envy on AX Chibi's part because they didn't have like an explosive event that I think they wanted. Like this is just me guessing. Like I don't know any of this for sure. But like the first year AX Chibi happened, I believe it sold out. And then like I do remember that there was talk among some of my staffer friends that were mentioning, oh, they're going to expand next year. They're going to have a day zero, and that day zero is going to turn into a third day, and then they're going to like take over the rest of the convention center, which they did do, and then they're going to
Mhm.
also start spilling over to the hotels, which they haven't done, and they're basically going to become ALA again, and then maybe they'll grow so big that they'll move to a different convention center, and the whole thing begins. But that's not happened. As a matter of fact, they've kind of gone the other way, where like they've not sold out since. Um, so I think they're just like, oh man, you know, like no, if we're gonna promote that weekend, like it's gonna just be our weekend, like our month. November belongs to AX Chibi.
Yeah, it's very
Um,
short-sighted, and I'm not really sure what the goal of this is. Like, if the goal is that you're just gonna have like a more bare bones version of Anime Expo with a lot of their particular sets at a cheaper place just to make some extra cash, like right before like the major holiday season, it does seem just a little off. And let alone that if these particular policies that they have in their terms of service is just to like not hemorrhage money, I don't really feel like they completely planned this all out. I definitely think that maybe there was like an intention where they felt that they could expand, but if the goal is that they just want to like, I don't know, build up some other con that's like, because like it's even gonna borderline compete with ALA, and it feels like
yeah.
that's just kind of dumb because ALA is a great show that probably has a few people trying to leech their way into it from like smaller events that are probably
Oh,
not the
did you hear?
best type of organizers.
Did you hear about what happened with ALA though?
What happened with ALA?
They got mini canceled, and well, we talked about this, didn't we? By Kaho.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
heard any of
I
this, Manuel. Go
might not
ahead.
have been here if it happened in July.
Yeah, well, okay, maybe we didn't talk. Did we talk about this, JD? I don't remember
No, I
anymore.
have not heard
But
any
just
about this.
oh, really? So no one's heard about this. Okay, because it's Kaho. I think she didn't want to get like involved in too much con drama because she's already had this happen at several other conventions to a much greater degree, and I think she didn't care that much about ALA, and they did kind of rectify the situation. TLDR, during one of her live streams, she was talking about events, and somebody asked, "Are you going to be back at ALA?" Because
Mhm.
she's been at ALA for like years. I think ever since she like started doing cons. She's been at
I think it
ALA. We're
was
talking like 2018, 2019.
I think it was either because she did show up to ALA before she was an actual guest,
Yeah.
and the Kitsune network, they were very much like they made friends with Kahu, I think, over at a different, I forget, it's like a different kind of hentai con. It's not hentai matsuri, but there was like a
It was
hentai con
Hentai
that
Con.
happened.
It was Hentai Con.
It was just hentai con, and I
Yeah, it
can't
was
remember.
called.
It was if oh, sorry, continue.
No, I would just say it was called Hentai Con.
Okay, and that was I think it was a 2018 like November event or something like that. So they were saying that, hey, Kaho is gonna come over to ALA, but not as a guest. So like before she actually showed up as a guest, I got to like meet her, and then literally the following year, and I think onward from then.
Yeah, she's been a guest.
You know what? Yeah, and you know what? It must have been 2019 because 2020 is when she was like an actual guest. And it was still in Ontario, so like both times
Yeah,
were still in Ontario, and then she was like there for when like stuff was opening up again. So yeah.
a friend of mine went to that year she was a guest, and she was raffling off for one of her outfits. to like
Mhm.
an actual cosplay she wore, and one of my friends won it, and she was all like, I want to sell this to one of her, like, I want to sell this, but I don't want to sell it to one of the, to like, one of the crazy fans that's going to just take it home. And I mean, let's be real, what they're going to do to it. Let's just leave it at that,
My Little
She,
Pony shit.
yeah, exactly. Put in a jar and fill up the jar. But yeah, so like,
So
but what's funny, so going back to, so anyways, that's neither here nor there. But so I do know someone, maybe still has it. I'll hit her up if you want it. But anyway,
wait, what?
I'm kidding. But
I mean,
so,
Fletcher's having
so
an auction for some of her or for like some of her stuff right now.
Oh, does she really?
Yes.
Does she actually auction off her clothes regularly? I didn't know this was a normal thing she
I
always
think it
does.
might be a thing just for right now.
To be fair, this wasn't an auction. She was raffling it, and a friend of mine just won it like magically. And it was funny because I was there right after she won it. Like I ran into her like when she was trying to like leave to her hotel room when I was going to the con, and there were people who were like low key following her. Like not to be like crazy weird. They weren't like stalking her, but they were like following her, trying to talk to her to buy it from her. And I heard some people like, because when she stopped to talk to me, the people like stopped and hovered like behind her a bit. Like she had like a little mini entourage. And you could hear them complaining that, oh my God, can you believe a girl won it? Like, we should have been one of us. And I'm like, damn,
Oh my
you guys are
god.
fucking weird. You guys are fucking weird.
That
Anyway,
is very, very depressing.
it
Like
is.
the
But
fact that
anyway,
it just straight up came out of their mouths in like particularly that situation. Oh my
yeah.
god.
It was wild. And that was definitely 2020 AX. I mean, ALA. So flash forward to this year ALA. She's still a guest again. And there was even a brief
Okay, yeah.
period where I think this year and last year, maybe the year before, where she was even facilitating guest services. Like she was bringing guests. So somebody asked her in a live stream, and she's all like, "No, I don't really want to air it out, but I was going over my tax stuff, and this is kind of dates about when it happened. I was going over my tax stuff, and it turned out that ALA never paid me. They never paid for
Oh
the hotel. They never
shit.
paid me." And
That
she's like, I don't want to
that
make it a
is
big
terrible.
thing. Yeah, I don't want to make it
That
a
is a
big thing,
crime.
but like, yeah, exactly. But like, I need to talk to someone there, and I'm sure they'll sort it out. And to be fair, it's my understanding that it was sorted out. But I do think that she's pretty much said almost directly, like, that was a weird thing, and she probably would have never caught it if it wasn't like, it's kind of like the me thing. Like I used to talk about, like how sometimes, like, when you just watch her money like a hawk, like it was almost like a miracle she caught it at all. So I think she's not going to ALA anymore because of this whole debacle about not paying her, and
I
that's
mean,
fair.
valid. Yeah.
But you also got to wonder, and it's funny because I also have other similar stories, not recent ones, about other ALA guests not getting paid or not getting paid correctly, and usually it does get sorted out after like a year or so of like, hey, you didn't pay me. Like, who do I talk to? And usually what happens is, because like any con, the kind of like con leadership sort of disperses after the con. And then it takes almost till the next year when they're all back in one place again. Like, yeah, one of you owes me money, cut me a check, and then they usually do it. But but yeah, so ALA ain't looking too bright either. Like how we got this huge aside to talk about all the cons aren't looking too great right now. But yeah, SPGA is doing some fuck shit with that fucking terms and services, and I think it's throwing stones in a glass house. But like within hours. Oh, and also I should to go back to my whole thing about the idol grilled cheese party. Immediately in the chat I have with like Tiffany and other people, they're all like, "Oh yeah, all the Kai Guy idols are gonna like are trying to like boycott the con now." And Kai Guy idols, so you know, it's like the local idol scene. And don't get me wrong, some of them are going to break rank and some of them are going to go. That's the way things always go. But everyone I know is not going now. And I'm like, the idol grilled cheese party. No.
I do like that. That's
I'm
your
like, we're still
concern,
having
Manuel.
it. Yeah. Okay. Well, I also don't want to, like, once again, I have somebody who has a story about actually kind of getting bullied into not having an event. But my advice would be just do it anyway. And like, AX ain't going to do shit. But then again, I see how that's shitty advice. But anyways, forget Manuel's advice. So within hours of this all kind of blowing up, Anime Pasadena put out, which is happening the same weekend as AX Chibi, by the way, put out a post where they're all like, We respect our artists and would never ask them to like agree to silly terms or some shit like that. I forget the exact
You know
wording, but
what?
that's basically what they said.
You know what that reminds me of?
Hmm.
Um,
Are you gonna say
back
what I'm
when
gonna
the
say? Yes, the
back
line con.
when wait,
No.
what?
Is it the Xbox One announcement?
Yes,
Yeah, I know.
back when the
Oh,
Xbox One and the PlayStation were gonna release Part 4 and the
oh my
Xbone
god,
Xbox. And it's funny
oh my god.
because I should be here talking about how Sony, when they did the PlayStation 3, it was a disaster because they were like on top of the world with their PS2. And so
Yeah,
now Xbox, which from a multimedia standpoint, they did beat Sony, and Sony didn't really beat them until like waiting until the very end of the PS3, Xbox 360, and the Wii lifespan time frame. To be fair, the Wii killed both of them. Like, let's be fair, the Wii outsold both of them. But the what's it called? But yeah, no, so Xbox is now like, yeah, we're the big boys in town, and we're gonna release our Xbox One, and in the interest of everyone, you need to have it connected at all times.
Mhm.
You are no longer allowed to trade like games between each other. That's we're moving with the
yeah,
future. Why do you need why do you need to like trade games? In fact, you're just pretty much just gonna have a disc that just unlocks the key, and that's about it.
yeah.
It's like there's never gonna be a secondhand market for it or anything like that. And so everyone got pissed at Xbox so hard. And so this time, Sony was learning from their mistakes, looked at that. And they channeled energy that they hadn't channeled since the mid 90s. And they were like, okay, here's what we're going to do. First off, their console was also going to be a little cheaper, but that was not where they curve stomped Xbox. They announced that they were not going to do the same trade policy as Xbox. And then they decided that would have been enough to just put them in good graces. But instead they said, we're going to have a demonstrational video about how you can trade games
Yeah,
with
they
your
just
fellow gamers. And it shows the
it's like 10
the
seconds long.
American head of Sony, and then it's the Japanese CEO, and they said, here's how you trade. Step 1. And it showed one of the CEOs handing the other one a game. They both look at the camera and smile, and it says, done.
Yes, that was it. It's funny. No, I was talking to a friend of mine about this recently because I wish Sony still had that kind of energy because everyone forgets about this. And they kind of had a similar moment recently, and nobody even commented on it because when very famously when Nintendo announced the Switch 2, they announced that Mario Kart World was going to be $80.
Mhm.
And then Microsoft came out like immediately afterwards, and let's be real, they clearly planned this because Microsoft and Nintendo are like hand in hand these days. Microsoft came
Yeah.
out like the next day, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, we're charging $80 for all our games going forward too."
It was Outer
And
Worlds
then
2. I don't think they've announced another one at the $80 price point, and they walked that back.
okay, well, it's funny. It's funny that this is probably why they walked it back. And then I think they were both kind of expecting Sony to do the same. But then Sony came out and we're like, yeah, we're just gonna charge. We're not gonna tell any like we're gonna charge what we're gonna charge, and we don't think it has to go up to 80 yet.
Mhm.
Like it'll be on a game by game. If our third parties or third party supporters want to do that, it's on them. But we're not going to charge 80
Yeah.
for like first party games.
Mhm.
And I'm like, first of all, why did nobody comment on that? Everyone just let that go. That Sony said that, and I'm like, if
Okay,
this was
I know why they let that
2008
go.
Sony, why?
No, I know why they let that go. Okay, because it was good, but everyone was high. They were riding a high. I was riding that same high. Okay, because after the first day of State of Play, okay, the only thing people were talking about was the death of Marvel versus Capcom.
Oh God.
Because, like, okay, because get me wrong. Here's the thing. There were plenty of people that kind of already knew about everything in the state of play. Okay, we were gonna get what's it called, Death Stranding 2. We were getting some announcements for games that were kind of like in the pipeline. Everybody's reactions were like, yeah, this is pretty cool. New Assassin's Creed. You know, everybody was like, everybody who was watching, everybody who was live streaming it for their audiences were pretty much giving the reactions of like, yes, this is like a pretty okay state of play. This is pretty decent. We're focusing on the games. It's pretty, you know, rough that we don't have the E3, but it seems like they're on good shoulders. And then the last game of the E3, the very last one. First day, let me point out. First day state of play. The very last game, it's Marvel. It's Arc System Works, and when Arc System Works dropped, because everybody could tell it was Marvel, so some people were guying up like, what are we seeing? What are we seeing? Arc System Works after Marvel logo, everyone was like, what? It was like, what just happened? And of course, it was the Marvin token thing. So like, straight up, all the fighting game channels were like losing their minds. It was literally the very last demonstration before they said that's the end of our state of play, and that pretty much took up most of the airtime. And then like, as much as it could have been big, also Persona 4 revival got announced, but I'm gonna be honest, like that one didn't get nearly as it didn't get the same fanfare because it was a very what the fuck, and a lot of people on the Atlas related people were saying like, we're gonna get some form of revival. It's probably gonna be part 4, because why wouldn't they do it at this point? If Atlas really wanted to steal the show, they would have brought back 2. If they would have remade 2, everybody would not be talking about Marvel at all. Everyone would be talking about Persona 2.
To be fair,
they should have talked about the fact that Sony wasn't joining in the little triumvirate of all raising prices, because an older Sony, I think 2008, that's the wrong year. 2013, I think, I don't know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
whatever
roughly.
year they actually did that. Yeah, that's more the accurate year. But if that Sony existed, they would have did a video where it's all like, oh, you're gonna raise prices? Nah. It's like, and then they just leave Microsoft and Nintendo. And then, like JD said, actually, not even just Microsoft. Both Microsoft and Nintendo kind of walked it back. Let's be real. I'm pretty sure Donkey Kong Bonanza would have been $80 if Sony joined in. Like, it was. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure.
It's pretty already announced at the $70 price point when it came out.
Yeah, but like they were already. That was before they announced that they were raising a bunch of shit, and they ended up raising everything but games. But I'm pretty sure they would have done some fucky shit if Sony just joined in too. Because then, Microsoft also backed down too, and it's just like, oh, so are you gonna do it or not? I don't want them to, but like, clearly,
it's kind of funny. You can imagine like, what's it called? PlayStation is just on the side, like they're just kind of like, yeah, we're not gonna do it. Like very much like just setting the stage, and everybody's just kind of like backing because they're like, I thought we were gonna do this together, and Sony just was like, maybe when what's it called? Grand Theft Auto 6 drops. We'll talk when that also one drops.
Grand Theft Auto 6, technically that wouldn't count because it's not like, I don't think Sony's even publishing it. But yeah, so it's like it technically wouldn't count anyway. I said this before, but there were technically $80 games on the Switch 1 already. No one noticed it because it would be random ass publishers. Just like, I remember Dynasty Warriors 8 Legends, or I forgot what they call it. One of the fucking Dynasty Warriors games I wanted to buy that launched at $80 in like 2021 on the Switch. It was the eShop. It was digital only, and I'm like, God damn, $80! And no, that was not a digital deluxe. It was just $80.
But I was going to ask.
The digital deluxe was 100, by the way. I'm not making that up. So I forget I think it's Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, by the way. It might have been 9. Doesn't matter. A Dynasty Warriors game. And I know this because I was interested in it, and I'm like, I'm not paying that. And even when it's 50% off now, it's like 40, and I'm like, I still kind of don't want it. And now I just don't want it because it's so old. But anyway, going back to the whole Sony thing, and then going back to the actual Anime Pasadena thing.
Yeah, Anime Pasadena. Anime Pasadena one is there, like just being like, okay.
The reason I say that though isn't so, and the reason why I kind of thought you were going there also was that if you recall, around 2021, maybe 2022. When it was 2021, because it was definitely, we were still kind of in minor lockdown. It was before ALA came back. The first con back, like in SoCal, I think it was called Animanga or some bullshit. I forgot what the fuck it was called. It was a con in Ontario. It was in the same place that AX Chibi is. but it was a shitty con that was run by somebody that we don't know who the fuck it was. And it was a shitty con. Remember, it was the one very famously had a super line con to get in, and then there was a line to get to the
let me tell you about
ambulances.
it.
There's a line
let
to
me
get to
tell
the
you about it.
ambulances?
Oh yeah, I don't mean to laugh at that, but there was a line to get like
No,
ambulanced out because you passed out because of heat stroke or
let me tell you
whatever.
about it because I was there. I was
Oh,
at
you were
that
there?
con.
Okay.
I was not gonna go originally because when I heard the drama beforehand, I kind of felt like I'm not gonna go to it. But then a cosplay couple reached out to me and said, "Hey, we're gonna go to the event and we want you to take pictures." And I was like, "Sure, cool. I'll go over and I'll take pictures." And so I get to the event like at around 10 o'clock or something. Not early, it's maybe like 10:30. I didn't even get there like super early. And there was a snake of a line. The only reason I dodged the line is because I made some props, both for the couple. I made a prop, and then I made a prop for a different friend. So the other friend was able to get me in. And then afterwards, I went inside. It was weird because security was pretty much in charge of everything. There was like someone who was like, it felt like maybe you could walk into the art and the exhibit area without even actually going to the badge pickup area, because the line was just to get inside of the building. And the place where they had the badge pickup, you could like totally have gone into the exhibit hall like without that. And oh,
That's
there's
so
manual.
weird.
And so then I look outside, and there was a person I saw before I got in, but when I barely got there, there was like a person I saw, and I was like, "Oh snap!" And they looked at me from outside, and so right away they messaged on the Instagram, and I was like, "Yo, you're still out there?" And they're like, "Yes, we're still out here." And it was like, "How?" And it's like, "We don't even know." And there's been ambulances. There's been some people
Yep.
who like random people brought water. And it turns out that the food trucks that were outside, which they didn't have them locked up like Anime Chibi has them locked up. So like there was actually some food vendors out there. Food vendors were not allowed to sell water. Very specifically, Animanga said that they cannot sell water.
That's
And
weird.
some vans would drive up with people who would bring a bunch of water and then just start handing it to the people that were in line. I think the ambulance showed up 7 times. And it was just ridiculous. And the couple that even asked me to go never got into the con because the line was
Oh
4
my
hours long,
god.
and they checked out of their hotel like at, I think it was like noon or 1 or something. So they literally would have been in line until closing. They were like, "F this." So I ended up having to leave the con, which didn't really have a lot to it. Um, oh, but the artist alley, I don't know how anyone with a wheelchair got through that, because the artist alley literally had like, you know how there's like the double tables, and sometimes the double tables will have like a line through the middle to fold them better. So there's like
Yeah.
some people can sit on one side and they can sit on the other side, but there's like a groove in the middle, you know? Well, imagine those halves literally across the area. And that was it. Like they were right next to each other. It was probably like um yeah, no, like it was really, 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 really like, if you had a chair, there was no way you were gonna get through that. There was no way anybody could like wheelchair through like the way that they had the artist alley set up. It was pretty much able-bodied AF. You'd have to slide if it felt like maybe like if you were like more on a wider side or something like that. I was struggling even to walk through the aisles of it. Also, I don't know why they built the what's it called, the artist alley the way that they had it. And there were some people afterwards that were like, "Yeah, no, there's no way for anybody who's like not able-bodied to even get through this hall without like causing a jam." I don't know why they had
Yeah, that's
everybody so
crazy.
cramped up together. um and Yeah, and the rest of it was literally just in the exhibit hall. They didn't utilize any of the other rooms for any particular event. And yeah, no, that was about it. I was probably at the con for probably only about 3 hours before like the friends called me out, and I was like, "Okay, well, that was about it." It was not run well.
Yeah, so it's funny. I didn't hear about the artist alley thing, but I heard all the other stories. Because I remember a friend of mine was vending there. Funny enough, she didn't post pictures of the artist alley, so like interesting. But I remember she did take a picture of like 4 or 5 people sitting by one of the side entrances of the Ontario Convention Center, and they were waiting for because like basically obviously an ambulance can take multiple people, or so like they were waiting for the next, like there was like 2 or 3 parties waiting for the next 2 or 3 ambulances. And I'm like, that's wild. There's a line for the ambulances. Like that's not normal. But so when that happened, and by the way, also to clarify, just real fast, little code to that, people did look into it. Like there was a friend of mine who like kind of did some investigative reporting, so to speak, who checked out who the hell ran it, and they were some no-name person from the East Coast who literally right after COVID happened, they put together like 6 or 8 random events. Like some of them were anime, some of them were comics, some of them were like sci-fi, whatever the fuck, who just were trying to make money and run. And they pretty much, I don't know if they made the money, but they definitely just did it and ran.
They ran the crypto equivalent of a rug pull.
Yeah,
I
so
guess anime
and it's my
crypto
understanding
rug
that the
pull.
cons had like no staff. Like it's funny you say that because like hearing it pretty much firsthand. Like apparently the cons had like no staff. They just hired like the temp workers from like the security peoples or whatever the hell, and they're like run the con for us, and it was just like that.
Yeah, there was like
And
not really volunteers. I only saw security.
Yeah,
and
so
the
like
security
it's funny you say
people,
that.
the security people were very aggro. Like
Yeah,
very much like what the hell am I doing? Like yeah.
So the funny thing about the reason I brought that con up, besides to just talk about that con, and we never did at the time, when that con happened, it also was happening around the same time Anime Pasadena was going to happen, which was also one of the first cons back. This is like the end of 2021. So they were happy, I think, the next weekend. So they posted a picture. I mean, they did the exact same thing. They posted a picture of like a previous year. They're like, oh, don't want to, and they were being kind of snarky. And I think this is a little more in bad taste. Like, oh, don't want to pass out in the line? Come to Anime Pasadena where we'll get you in and out fast. And guess what happened?
Line con?
They had a line con too. And like I don't know why. I don't know. I do not understand how conventions have line cons. I assume it's a security issue, an issue with security. I mean to say, I just don't understand it. Like there are times you'll see the line and it's not moving, and I'm like, what is holding up the line? I am very confused by all of this. And then you'll go to the front and it's moving. It's moving slowly, but it's moving. I'm like, is everyone just cutting, or people like multiplying in the line? It's like, are we witnessing what's that word, mitosis or osmosis? Are we witnessing osmosis in action? I'm confused because I'm like, how is the line not moving? Anyway, so I just found that funny that like the last time they tried something similar, and don't get me wrong, I guess this time they can't do it unless like somebody like, ha, we wrote it in our terms of services too. So clearly that's not going to happen. But I do find it funny that Anime Pasadena is doing that when the last time they tried something similar, it blew up in their face. So yeah, I don't like Anime Pasadena. I don't think it's a bad event, or like I don't think there's any reason to like hate it. I just don't like the impulses, and I don't like the anime city cons, because they're pretty much all run by there's like 4 impulses and there's like 5 anime cities.
City,
Except for Los Angeles.
like Riverside and Pasadena.
There's Anime Pasadena, anime Las Vegas, and I forget they have like 2 other, and they've had several that have only lasted 1 year. But they have like 4 or 5 events that I think go on every year, and they've had like I think a total of 8 over the years. But like it's anime blank city, and then it always had that little ninja guy, the little like looks kind of like he's like all very round and chibi looking. It has that ninja guy as the mascot, and their events feel like the Walmart, or like the. You ever been to a Wizard World or whatever they're called? The ones that Wizard used to put on. I don't know if they still do.
Oh, okay, that one.
It feels like one of those. Oh, are we getting the feet for free?
No, I think they're off screen right now.
Okay, they're off screen. Anyway,
they're cut off on stream. Don't worry.
but no. So
wait,
so yeah.
I can.
There it goes. Okay, I mean the feet were cut off anyway.
I moved it up.
The feet were apparently cut off anyway. But
it's
yeah,
not
so
be on stream anymore.
So I don't like those cons, mainly because they feel so cookie cutter, and they are literally just an exhibit hall. Which, if that's all you're going for, that's fine. But like, there's no programming. like they'll usually have like a main event panel room where they'll have like 6 or so like big name panels, like, oh, we got the cast of Naruto here, and like it'll just be like a Q&A session, thing like that, but like there won't be like a video room, there won't be like fan panels, there won't be like performances usually. um there might be they might have food trucks, but that's about it. It just feels very like low effort.
I
So
think I do know what you mean about with regards to it, because over here in the Bakersfield area, I want to say between Bakersfield to Fresno, and I'm not going to throw Fresno necessarily under the bus because I feel that Fresno is genuinely trying its best, or at least whenever I've gone to those events in Fresno, I feel that they genuinely are trying to do their best with the very limited pool that they're able to bring in. Because it definitely feels like if you're in the Fresno area, you're just going to be pulled more towards the Bay Area in terms of events to hit up. At least in terms of what's nearby. It's so you either want to go to SAC Anime or you want to go to Fanime.
yeah.
But I feel like genuinely they try to keep the energy alive. They try to support their local peeps. And Bakersfield, in the meantime, I feel just does not have the same team as SAC Anime, because I feel genuinely like SAC Anime somehow always has better guests, better turnout, better even like fan events or fan panels that they'll have in there, and which has made Bakersfield feel just a little stagnant. Me and Kakarot Hanake like to go so that we've gotten lucky with buying, or rather I'd say funding, the second season of My Dress Up Darling. We have bought so much Dress Up Darling merch there, as well as buying a lot of it on discount, like at some really dope ass prices. So, like, we normally go there to see if we can do a little bit of shopping nearby and like
Yeah.
take advantage of it, especially because there's a vendor that always goes still to us, that always goes to a lot of events. You can tell who they are because they'll always have like a magazine set up in front of them, and then right behind them is a boatload of figures, and they always sell like some of their figures at like discounted prices or special combinations. I'm just trying to remember what their name is. And so that's pretty much what we have like in the valley. So people in Bakersfield will be more pulled towards going to some events that are more LA area, that have been run by some people for like longer periods of time, might have a little bit of better guests than what we'll have. And then now we're getting to our main attraction. They were called OhanaCon or something like that.
Ah.
And this was like, if you want to talk about some conventions that pretty much were like cookie cutter, no effort based things, they essentially would find a lot of places that didn't have like a lot of big cons and stuff like that within the valley areas that went between Bakersfield to Fresno. And this would be nothing more than a over glorified outdoor swap meet with like anime related stuff. So they would use whatever space was available. They would have, as they would advertise, like cosplay. We'll have a cosplay contest and stuff like that, but very, bare bones level. It doesn't really matter
Yeah.
if you're like not major cosplayer, if you're just there like in a costume thing. And this was just solely made so that way it's like under the guise of like, hey, it's a family-based community thing where you can come down, but it's like not really any different than any other random vendor that would go see that there's a space where they could probably sell any stuff, even if it wasn't necessarily anime related or adjacent. Or like, if it wouldn't matter if it was anime or if it was Comic Con, it would just try to take those nerd related things, and literally it would only be for like a day or something and then like take off. And I would later hear that they would try to talk to like local cosplayers. Didn't really matter what their followings were necessarily, and they would just be like, oh, we just need some people that would help encourage more people to come down for these particular events. And we would have they wouldn't have any particular guests. If they did, you'd better believe they advertised the fuck out of that particular person. But yeah, I feel that I still get what you mean by in terms of when it comes to the city cons, or like Impulse, because Impulse is very much like you're gonna come down, you're gonna see that we have our like trifecta of
Well,
the
Impulse. Yeah, I was gonna
K-pop.
say Impulse is a little different because it's 3 or 4 cookie cutter cons together.
Mhm.
So at the very least,
I
they have a
feel
variety. But yeah, it's the same thing.
I feel their Anaheim iteration was good
Okay.
just because they had a fully indoor spot, and it probably had the best set design versus
So
whenever they would do it at.
it's funny you bring that up because I got an email from Anime Impulse as we were talking, and I actually opened it because I'm like, wait, are they watching? Did they just ban us? And no, I guess I won't name names, but somebody did apply to attend there as press for A to J, and they got accepted. And I just find that funny.
That's
I'm
good.
over here like Anime Impulse. I don't like it. To be fair, I did say I don't think that they're bad cons. You should boycott or not go to if you have fun at them. I just don't like them. But yeah, now I'm backstep and I'm walking it back. Like don't deny the
Manuel's selling out.
Anime Impulse. Yes.
I think if you really enjoy the cons and the con space, I think that if you have certain events that have been in the space for like longer than 5 years, you'd want them to be doing more to like show that they're improving, and you definitely want it to be a space that like, it's definitely welcoming. It shows that it definitely doesn't make you feel like you're just here to like, hey, you're literally just here to give, fill our pockets, buy our
Yeah.
registration, uh, come here to our vendors, and like even the energy from the vendors need to be really like dope about it. Like there's gotta be like effort. Like even when we went to Anime Impulse back in 2024 at the Anaheim one, like, hey, they were really making an effort for like both their K-pop area. They got Lotus Juice to even come down. They weren't
Oh yeah,
trying to
Lotus
make it
the guy.
seem like, hey,
Yeah.
you need to pay like extra for him and stuff like that. It's kind of like, no, you can like come and check him out. He'll be like right here. Check out all of our pop-up things. Even the sneaker side brought a whole like basketball court.
Sadly,
Like,
I don't know if the email didn't mention it, but I don't think there's a sneaker expo this time. The email only says K Play Fest and Collectors Expo. I do know there was a sneaker one last year, but it doesn't. It's not either that or the pass doesn't allow us to go into it. But so yeah, they don't have it listed here.
Sorry, Manuel,
oops.
no Air Jordans for you.
Yeah, I want to overpay for '90s Air Jordans. I want like yes, I want this used pair of sneakers for $500. Um, but no,
To be fair, at least their prices can get pretty competitive with one another. So
yeah.
I don't think like after you pay to get in, I don't think they're gonna go all out and making sure that they're gonna have like a pair of sneakers completely out of the range. I think they try to like reduce the price a little based on the admission. I mean, it's still gonna be higher than when they came at. Well, it could depend. There are some sneakers that are close to around the same price that they could have been when they were released.
To be fair, I'm
But
pretty sure I don't know the pricing for these cons, but I do think Anime Pasadena and Impulse are both decently cheaper than your average anime convention. I think they run
no,
in the
they are.
30 to they're like 30 to 50-ish range, whereas most other cons are like obviously 75 to 100. So
Do you remember?
that should be
When
that should be good.
AX
I'm
used to
selling out
have
still.
its weekend badge for
Okay,
$50?
so thank you for bringing that up. So this was not in the 1962 when I was a kid. In 2012, I found the
Mhm.
email. 2012. That's barely over a decade, and this shit was happening like almost years after, only a few years later. I found my thing from AX 2012. The fucking premiere badge. The premiere badge was $99 when we got it.
Dude.
$99. The premier badge, the badge that doesn't even exist anymore. But the last time it existed, I think it cost like $500 or $600. Not making that number up, by the way. That's what it
He's
cost.
not.
No, there was discussions where like
And
people
it
were
was
saying stuff like,
$99.
AX, who do you think you are, Disney?
No, it's insane. And like, and I also found, I mean, the hotels are going to be whatever, but I stayed at the Hotel Figueroa. Yeah, my last name. But I stayed at the Hotel Figueroa that year with my then girlfriend, and our hotel stay was less than $200 a night. Less than $200 a night. And I'm like, the hell, and I don't remember the exact amount, but and as a matter, that's like with taxes. I didn't see like the itemized bill. I just have an email of like the final thing. So it was probably like 129, 140 a night, which is like literally about a third of what those hotels cost now through the con. And like I think we booked that on our own. Like I think we just booked it through Hotel Figueroa itself. So I'm just like, this was not that long ago. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, but
It
I
is
think it's
insane.
also like a sign of how much they've expanded on top of how many people are going.
I guess. And by the way, what happened there? Because I experienced it in person too, so it's not like they're making up the numbers. But like, you could go on I think 2012 was the one year they dropped. By the way, the numbers went down in 2012, which is kind of funny.
20
I'm like,
you know what
they were
happened in
selling their shit.
2012, right?
The world
The
ended.
world ended. Yeah, I do remember that was
well,
no. You want to something really funny, and we'll talk about how SPJ fucks up. That was the year that on April Fools, and this was a year where they had a pretty shitty guest lineup. I loved it because they had Animetal USA, and I was excited to see Animetal USA. But they were one of the premier like guests, and nobody knew who the fuck they were except people like me because they weren't even Animetal. They were the American version with like these like 80s metal stars like Rudy Sarzo and like Kristen Pelletieri and people like that playing anime songs in English. But on April 1st, they put an April Fool's joke. Oh, we're gonna have Baby Metal with Joe Hisashi doing an orchestral thing, and that was a joke.
whoa.
You remember that? And it was like
I am tripping right now just hearing that. That would have been like Baby Metal and Joe Hisaishi, the mother
yes,
effer whose repertoire is pretty much every Oscar movie that
exactly.
ever got like a nomination.
So
Like, are you kidding me?
it was funny that they had the gall to make a joke like that when they clearly were having trouble pulling in guests. I'm like,
Mhm.
and then they were all like, "Oh, does everyone want to go see Baby Metal? Let us know. Maybe we'll bring them." They didn't, and they never have gotten Baby Metal ever since. Baby Metal was already too big for them even in 2012, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, guys, you guys are like, you guys are stupid. That's what you guys are. But no, I don't know what happened. Somewhere between 2012 to 2014, and I forget which year it happened. The numbers went from like 44,000 to like 76,000, and then it went to like 80,000. Then it kept going to like 100 and kind of petered off going hitting capacity. But it's just like the fuck, like where did these 30,000 people decide they were going to go from one year to the next? Where did they come from? The Midwest, anyway. Which is probably exactly where they came from. But I don't know. I just find that funny. It just like I find that funny. It was $99 like 13 years ago. And once again, just to clarify, when it was 600 that last time, that wasn't like last year. That was like in 2020 probably, I think actually maybe 2022 or something. But actually no, I think they already got rid of the premiere by the time the pandemic came back. I mean, pandemic ended.
Yeah, maybe. Sorry, because I think I was considering buying one for 2023.
Yeah, so 2020, I think. Well, it doesn't matter. My point is, up until 2020, they still had that premiere batch had already like quadrupled in price. I remember it was like 400 at one point before it jumped into like 6. So literally within like 6-7 years, it was already like tripling, quadrupling in prices. And let's be real here. I don't think AX really tripled or quadrupled in quality. Well, maybe it did. Depends on what you'd like out of it. But
I mean, I think there's quality, and then there's just the diminishing returns at some point as you try to expand.
yeah, I mean, it's the American dream of capitalism.
Yeah.
Like at some point, you it's like you convinced everyone who's gonna come. Like you need to stop thinking there's gonna be continual growth forever. Unless you're like getting the babies there going immediately out of the womb. Like I don't understand how you're gonna keep growing at this point.
To be fair, I think they're free for the first 5 years.
There
At
you go.
least.
Start bringing the babies. Anyway, so just to wrap this up, because I like how we told like 5 different stories in the context of the AX Chibi Pasadena story.
Yeah.
I think what it is that we've been in this game for too long.
Yeah, that is true.
We've seen empires rise and fall. We've seen
Yeah,
situations where things were run by people that we thought was comical at times. We've run into scenarios where it's kind of like, yeah, it's cool getting to meet this guest. It's cool getting to do this interview. Oh my goodness, I'm hyped off a good time. Every year we have more people than the last year. And I think that genuinely, that not counting just the pandemic, but the anime world that we've known is gone. Like,
yeah.
we live in a time of oversaturation and the world literally burning. But like,
Yeah,
I'm
we're kind of in a
I'm just saying
dictatorship
this
right now.
to kind of
That's how I look at it.
advertise how me and Haneke are going to be doing like more than just anime events. Our goals are to probably do some traveling, and that's probably going to keep us from like Anime Expo and stuff.
Oh,
So I
Well,
would just
hold
like
on. I
to
need to
say
stretch a
that
little.
we wholeheartedly stand behind all the boycotts. Not that we weren't going to go or anything to begin with, but like, yeah, no, what they do to artists, that is some messed up stuff. We 100% will back those artists, regardless as to whether or not we were economically feasible to head out to an event or not. And yeah. Oh yeah, the 2019 AX earthquake. Yeah,
Earthquake
that was
shenanigans.
I believe there were two
I
of them.
remember.
I believe I was in a voice acting panel for one of them, and then I think Ultimate Karaoke Fighting Championships for the other.
So real fast, I did a Love Life panel at Fanime, and in the course of that panel, I was trying to find a particular performance from AX, not the Earthquake one, a particular Aqua performance from AX, which by the way I never found. I don't think it exists. And it's funny because Aqua have had like 6 lives in their entire career, and like all of them are on Blu-ray except for that one.
I was at that
did
one.
find the Yeah, I did find the Earthquake live though. And the Earthquake live, you could tell they try to edit around the Earthquake stuff. The MC's gone where they mention it, but and they try to stabilize the cameras. Like the camera stabilized, but you can fucking see the lights shaking like all hell, and it's wild to see it because you just think like if you didn't know better, you're like, what the fuck's happening on stage? Is there an earthquake? yes, there was. Anyway, to finish off the AX Chibi thing, just real fast, AX Chibi actually did reply to all the drama that's going on. And you know what they replied to? You know what they replied to? They ignored the whole thing about terms and services. Didn't say shit about that. They just replied to the fucking Anime Pasadena thing. Almost like low-key apologizing to have an event at the same time. They're like, come to both. It doesn't matter. And I call bullshit on a lot of things because they're like, oh, we picked our weekend because there's no other cons. And I'm like, bullshit. You picked that weekend because it's the cheapest weekend for events. For those who don't know, the month of November is like the off season and everywhere in the world. I'm not sure if it's because the holidays are around the corner, the end of the year is around the corner. I'm not sure what it is, but doesn't matter where you're at. That's why it's always so cheap. That's why whenever there's a pop-up event, it'll usually be the end of October or through November. I don't know why that is. It just is. And that's why there's always so many back-to-back events, and that's always why they step over each other. So AX is like just lying, saying that, oh, we picked this weekend because there's no events. There's always an event. Because the weekend they picked was also used to be the PMX weekend. And that's the reason they moved to that weekend too. Labor Day weekend is the cheapest week to get
Veterans Day
I think
weekend.
out of the year. Huh?
Veterans Day.
Veterans
weekend.
Day?
Yeah.
There you go. There
Labor
you go.
Day's in
Sorry,
September.
Veterans. I meant Veterans Day. I don't know why I said Labor Day.
I also
meant
say
Veterans
that
Day.
because I'm reading it straight off the thing that I had covering Josh's face.
Oh, but yes, Veterans Day weekend is the cheapest weekend in the calendar year to book an event. Fun fact, by the way, in case you want to do one. No one gets married on that weekend, and no company hosts their events, and nobody really travels. So I don't know why that is. It just is. And then the weeks surrounding it are also cheap because just the fucking pit that happens on Veterans Day.
Probably because
Anyway.
no one wants to give their employees time off before they're giving them time off for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I guess it all makes sense when you think about it. I think exactly what I said because it's so close to when everyone takes when like the world shuts down for like a month in the U.S. or like several weeks at the very least, no matter where you go, no matter what, for the end of the year. So yeah. Anyway, I guess that's UPZ. I'm still going to AX Chibi, and that's not because I'm a sellout. I mean, it's partly because I'm a sellout, but I still want to have my grilled cheese party. Doesn't matter who's going to be there. I'm sure some of the idols will still show up. Some of them will still. They already announced a couple already. I don't want to name names.
I mean,
I don't want to be
we wouldn't be going into AX Chibi, but if you were to like have us, and if the money allows, would you be down if Cat Girl Hannah K and me just came over for your grilled cheese party?
Oh yeah, for sure you come for the grilled cheese party. We'll talk later. Like I'm hoping to do some panels there. And it's funny, and not even because of the controversy, but like AX Chibi announced that they were gonna have a day 0, and I got confused. I thought they were gonna have a whole nother third day. So I submitted a crap ton more panels because I thought they were a 3-day con. They're not. But take all the panels, AX Chibi. Like I won't boycott you. Not to say the guys aren't fucking up, but I just don't think it's bad enough where I shouldn't go. I do support anyone who thinks that though. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that if I was an artist, I would still go and promote my other events and like just be like, come at me, Chibi. That's what I would do.
Man, if
I was
pause
Tiffany,
was so long,
huh?
I was worried you would cut out again.
Oh, yeah, and if I was Tiffany or Marjorie or any of the Idol girls, I'd be like, yeah, I'm still gonna submit and perform and I'm still gonna promote the concert I have the week after. Like, do what you're gonna do, and they ain't gonna do shit. Honestly, I think that's the whole issue. I think if they just stay silent and don't do anything, this could all blow over, and they could just quietly erase their terms, that little sentence or two, or a paragraph or two, and just move on with their lives. And then we could all just move on, and all have a happy anime existence.
All right, Manuel. What else are we doing?
Yeah. Tomorrow we're playing more Final Fantasy Renaissance with Warren. We got the airship. So Molly's dead. Now we brought her back to life before that happened. And we're gonna promote everyone in Final Fantasy. So tune into that stream, and we're gonna start powering ourselves up and become too OP to actually play the game. And then Friday's drink talk roll of some form. I don't know if we'll do a traditional drink talk roll because one of our main hosts,
Pleiades, goes along with my idea. We should be having a regular episode.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens. Drink talk roll is happening in some fashion, and then that's it.
Gold Sunday's off until we start Live Alive next month, and then we'll be back with UPZ next Tuesday.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for more shit, and that's pretty much it. All the interviews that we did at recent cons will be going up over the course of the next couple weeks, so please keep an eye out for those. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. The videos will be up sporadically. Subscribe to us on Patreon and get them early. I think that some of them will start going up like tomorrow in some fashion. So yeah, and there'll be some wait time until, like, not just because of the Patreon, but there'll be some wait time for editing and approval and stuff like that. But if you want to see a preview of the interviews that we did at Anime Boston and Hentai Matsuri, then patreon.com/ADJ Connections. Just support us there if you can. Yeah, shout out to Patreon if you want to support us there. Just because Manuel is drinking. I mean, it's similar to the whole thing I mentioned about, like, the American dream of capitalism. How much more can I cut out of my life? I'm drinking water because I can't afford anything else. It's like I'm kind of like, I think there's nothing else to cut out. I'm just gonna be on the street next week. Anyway, I'm kidding. It's not that dire. But please give us money so I don't have to, like, lose sleep at night about paying for the site. And that's it. Peace out. Thank you for watching. Love you all. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, Josh, for showing up. Thank you, JD, for whatever. And thank you, everyone else, for whatever. Love you all.
Good night.